Jan and Auto Electronics. Today we're going to be discussing the 2007 to 2013 Toyota Tundra. So this had a lot of different gauge clusters. So you had clusters that were the SR5 type with the orange backlighting, like this one. You also had some base model work truck clusters that didn't even have a tack. It just said Tundra on this side, less gauges. Then you had a version without the trans temp gauge here. And then primarily the reason that people want to upgrade is they want the limited style gauge cluster, the Optitron, which is LED lighting, white and red. It's got an info display in the middle with a lot of different options. So we'll kind of discuss how to remove the gauge cluster, how to find the right cluster for what you need, because there are some differences. If you have a larger fuel tank, there's different programming in the cluster, and you got to make sure you're getting the right one. So over the years we've kind of compiled information throughout just researching and customer feedback, and hopefully this video will answer any questions you might have about the process. I'll also touch on a few other things with the Tundra while we're going, as far as the automatic lighting and the automatic HVAC, which is another huge upgrade, I think, on this one. Possibly even more, not more important, but more luxurious, or creature comfort, or just quality of life upgrade that you can do. So it's really easy to swap the cluster out. You just want to make sure the steering wheel is, if I can find the lever for it, the steering wheel is down all the way and then out towards the driver. So secondly, this entire trim panel just pops out of the instrument panel. It's just got a bunch of tabs, plastic locking tabs. This one's missing a tab on it, but this just pops out and the whole thing just kind of sits there. Now the next issue you're going to run into is, how do you get this thing out of here? That's kind of the more trickier part. If I move my light here, hopefully we can get some better lighting here. So you just got to go one by one and remove these switches. They're the plugs to the switches. It's pretty simple. It's just a tab that you push and then pull the harness outward. So you got to work your way left to right. Actually, before I even do that, I can wait for that. We'll power on the cluster once we get this thing out of here. The other ones are the hazard switch here, and then you've got your new info switch. So this you need to install because the SR5 does not have these. This is for the limited option. If you have parking sensors, you need this bottom button. There's two versions of this, one without and then one with the parking sensors at the bottom. So and then the switch I can't see is the four-wheel drive version. The 4 low, 4 high, two-wheel drive switch. We'll unplug that. And then this truck is supercharged, so it has an additional AEM wideband gauge here, which complicates things a little bit for us, because we can't just pull it out of here. So let me disconnect that gauge, because that's not going to apply to a lot of people, and I will be right back. Alright, I've got the wideband gauge disconnected. The final part, you're just going to need a flathead and work it left to right to release this little trim filler piece, and that snaps into the top of the steering column. It's just like a little leather pleather filler. And that's it. The assembly comes out. Here you can see our new info switch. Here's the gauge that was installed here. And here is four-wheel drive switch. Now you can take these all out and do like custom LED if you want different color other than orange. That's not something we usually do, but it is an option. Another thing I wanted to mention, these vents. So Toyota uses this foam inside these vents. It's very delicate foam. After maybe 10 to 15, no, it's already, so I pinched just a little bit and it's already falling apart. So we're going to say after 10 years, this foam tends to deteriorate. And it's in there to basically make a seal when the vent is closed, and then not have like a plastic on plastic contact. So you can either replace the vent, because what's going to happen is over time when you close the vent you're still going to feel air, and that's just the foam that deteriorated in there. Two options. One, you can order 3mm foam off of Amazon and then cut a new template, and then take this vent out of here obviously, but then you can use your 3mm foam around the perimeter and then that'll seal it up again. Or you buy a new factory vent with the foam already installed in there. But typically I'd say 10 years is this is going to be toast. So we'll get this out of the way for now, and now we have kind of a greater understanding and visual of what's behind here. And while we're looking at it, this is the automatic temperature control from a limited version, limited trim. You can install this because typically you have to constantly adjust the temperature on the SR5 version and lower trim models, but this one was converted. So this used to be the manual control, now it's the automatic, and all you do is set your temperature and that's it. It'll automatically adjust everything for you on the fly. If interested in this, let me know. We can do another video on what's exactly needed to do this conversion. There's a little harness and a damper you have to install, but that's another topic. Another thing, if your truck did not have automatic headlights, there's a solar sensor up here. If you do not have a solar sensor where my finger is, you can install that, and then also install the automatic headlight switch right here, the stalk that says auto, and you tap into the BCM, which is under the driver's kick panels here, the bolsters. So that's another thing we can discuss in another time, but that way you can have automatic headlights that turn on and off during the day and night. But today we are discussing the gauge cluster. So I'm going to just power this on for a second just so you can see. So you'll see the lights are flashing here because the four-wheel drive switch is not plugged in. That's fine. What we do care about is that everything is functioning. Fuel gauge is to the maximum because the tank is full. The battery light's going to show your battery voltage. You have oil temp, oil pressure, and trans temp. Now to get this out of here, you just need a 10mm socket, and I'm not going to bore you with unscrewing the screws, but there's four, one in each corner. So I'm going to get this out of here and continue the video. Okay, we've got the screws out, and the cluster will just lift out of here. It's got one plug, all models. It's okay if you unplug it when the car is on, it doesn't matter. It's not going to damage anything or mess with any warning lights, anything like that. So we're going to take our old SR5 cluster, plug it in, and everything works again. So your mileage is obviously not going to, programmed to the cluster. So you're not going to have, if you need a new cluster, you have to get it programmed. We do that with every cluster purchased. We also offer odometer programming. That's not a big deal. Okay, so like I said, the other big thing is all 07 to 13 clusters interchange. Doesn't matter what anybody says. They're all the same. There's a ton of different part numbers because Toyota changed the part number multiple times each year, and then every year had its own part number. But as you can see, everything is working correctly. The tach is normal. Our oil pressure is going up, you can see over here. And the battery works all as well. What is important to note is that a very small percentage of trucks had a larger fuel tank. I think it was 38-gallon fuel tank. Here's another SR5 cluster we'll plug in here. Same thing, everything works. 155K on this one. So a very small percentage of trucks had the larger fuel tank option, and that will mess with your fuel gauge. So if you have a larger tank cluster programmed in your truck and you have a smaller tank, it's going to think, like, look at this one. This one is reading only a little over maybe 3/4, whereas the other ones were at the full mark. So I think we just found a cluster in question here. So this is a internal programming that we do, or we sell different SKUs basically. We'll sell a SKU of the normal gas tank version, and then we'll have one for the larger tank. So that'll eliminate any issues on your end. So if you buy, now see here, this one, fuel is full. So I just illustrated, without even looking for it, the exact issue we're finding on very, very, very few percentages of customers here. And then this one again is full. So, and this one's got 149K. So you got to make sure you're getting the right one. And we take care of all that for you. So essentially, that's really all there is to talk about. The main points are that all 07 to 14 are the same. Some have, oh no, this one's back full again. So this one actually might have a problem with the motor. It might not be a programming issue. All sorts of fun things you learn when you play with clusters all day. Also, what you should know is this reason this little box, the shift gear indicator, is not on is because we have all these switches unplugged, so it's not going to light up over there. So that's it. If you have any questions about any of that, let us know. But typically, it's they're all interchangeable. They'll all work. We have heard issues where, like, a base model truck with no gauges doesn't display the trans temp correctly, or oil pressure or something, just because it doesn't have those sensors. But we've been selling these a long time, probably 10 years at least, and we have very, very few odd issues like that, where someone will say, well, this gauge doesn't work, or the fuel gauge is off a little bit, and that's it. So hopefully this will clear up some confusion on the matter, And if you have any questions about those other conversions like I mentioned, the automatic lighting or automatic heater control, like here, a lot of people don't know this. You can just put it in and it'll work with the right equipment. And it's a lot easier than going, well, it's too cold, it's too hot, too cold, too hot, all while you're driving. This takes care of everything for you. And I can show you that there's actually a sensor in this vent here that regulates or picks up the air temp and then determines what the temperature is and adjusts it. So that's how it. And I don't think that's present on the lower base models. That's one of the pieces you have to buy for the conversion. So that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. As always, you can find us on all social media, our website, and we'll paste a bunch of links below. So thanks for watching. Bye.